Great crowd as always here at Thompson-Boling Arena in Knoxville, ready to go between Georgia and Tennessee. The Lady Dogs, the Lady Vols, and the opening tip is controlled by Georgia in the road black. Here's Diamond Battles.
We'll expect a lot of man from the Lady Vols here this afternoon. They worked on so many of Georgia's sets yesterday in practice.
Battles gets an open look, can't get it to drop. There's Zoisha Smith on the offensive glass, and a second chance here for Georgia.
And both head coaches said numerous times, you've got to box out, not rebound, box out, because of so much respect for their opponent here today.
Batted away in the post by Sarah Puckett in the starting lineup for Tennessee with Jordan Walker at the point. Caroline Striplin making her 11th start. Tess Darby is an excellent shooter, 42% from outside the three-point line. And Jordan Horston, top 12 in the SEC in scoring, rebounds, and assists. Different look for Georgia here today, Christy. Zoisha Smith getting her first start since November. First start for Mallory Bates this year, fourth of her career. Alicia Lewis, first start since December 1st. Different look. Foul on Mallory Bates, first of the game called, and you get a good look at this Georgia defense as Tennessee works against it. Battles, good defensive player, gets up in Sarah Puckett. This one is thrown away, and a tie-up will give it to Tennessee with 5 on the shot clock. Well, that's a different kind of tweak. Throw it off the defender, pick it up, and score. That's what Jordan Walker did. Brittany Smith sets the screen for Battles. Battles an open look. That one is off the iron, and here comes Tennessee on the run with Walker. Walker on the push. Comes up short, the rebound for Mallory Bates.
And this is when Georgia's at their best, when they can force turnovers or get stops and then run in transition.
So Bates goes to the bench with 2. Javin Nicholson, who has already scored more points this year than she did all of last year for Georgia, is into the game, number 35, defending Jordan Horston.
Well, the one thing Georgia has is great post depth, so you hate to see Mallory Bates go to the bench, but it shouldn't hurt this lineup.
Played just 12 minutes against Texas A&M. That was an odd game. Texas A&M hosting Tennessee on Thursday. 62-50 was the final. How about the Tennessee defense so far? 0 for 5 is Georgia from the field, and a wild shot by Brittany Smith. She's ready. Final few preparations before checking in. Georgia better be ready. Jackson averaging 22.5 points a game first season with Tennessee. Now in for Georgia, here comes Audrey Warren.
And Eric, having watched Georgia's practice last night, they are prepared for Rickea Jackson. And I love what Coach Abe said. She said, Rickea Jackson reminds her of Katrina McClain. She goes, one of the best offensive rebounders that this league has ever seen. I thought that was high praise.
She may be the biggest fan of Rickea Jackson that's not wearing orange or Summitt Blue in this building here today. There is Jordan Horston. Horston struggled against Texas A&M, was 5 of 15 from the field, had an assist and 5 turnovers. She gets her first points tonight. Battles. Taken away by Walker. Has Horston and Jackson up ahead. Timeout called by Georgia.
It's about cohesion, and it just takes teams sometimes longer than others. And when you throw a dynamic playmaker like Rickea Jackson into the mix this year, it's different. And so hats off to Kellie Harper.
Tennessee has yet to turn it over, so 8 possessions for Georgia. They are 0 for 5 from the field. They have 4 turnovers, and they're down by 9.
Well, the key for Georgia is to get stops or force turnovers, because this is when Georgia's at their best, when they can get out in transition and score off their opponent's miscues.
Jasmine Franklin into the game for the Lady Vols in the post. Here's Jackson weaving through for 2. She had started the previous 11 games, but coming off the bench here this afternoon. And there's a steal. Walker, more good defense from Tennessee. Walker's got help and uses it.
Well, this is something Kellie Harper said yesterday. You can see it on film, this 3-2 matchup. You can see the press on film, but until you go against it, it is just different. And I think for Jasmine Powell, she's getting it figured out right now.
Hollingshed. Hollingshed on the lean, no. Batted up and out of bounds, last touched by Georgia, replacing Tess Darby.
You know, Eric, we're seeing it already. Both coaches going to their benches. Both these have really deep benches that they can go to, and you can just see, especially for Georgia, just trying to figure out what will work right now against Tennessee.
Well, it's a unique, too, for Georgia, too, because the players they went to on the bench in a handful of cases are usually in the starting lineup. So a couple of different roles here today. Jackson with 2 on the shot clock. Good defense by Georgia, and they come away with it. Chapman defended by Horston. Ooh, nifty little move by Chloe Chapman. First personal on Horston, and here is the senior from Mitchellville, Maryland, Chloe Chapman. Georgia and TCU, 9 Eastern, 8 Central, never before seen footage. So Lewis checks out. Georgia with some pressure as Horston brings it across half court. As Jackson underneath. Good find by Hollingshed and the finish by Jackson. Isaacs to Smith on the turnaround. Nope. Jackson. This is her first season with Tennessee. She started the first 8, did not play in 2, has been coming off the bench since. Tennessee has gone on that run with her in this off-the-bench role.
And Kellie Harper couldn't say enough good things about Rickea Jackson. Rickea has bought into that role, and from my opinion, is excelling in this role as well.
That's not going to stop us from making too much about it. I mean, here's one of the very best players in college basketball who's coming off the bench, but it just shows you how change of scenery changes the mix and the flow for a team. And this was a team that was struggling with that tough schedule, as that one is up. Mark followed up and put in by Jordan Isaacs. They saw signs of it actually in a loss to Virginia Tech, according to Kellie Harper. That was a loss, but they were shorthand. A couple of different pieces fit together in the game better than they probably would have forecasted. There's a 3 on the way from Powell, and a second chance here to Walker. Final minute of the first quarter.
Kellie Harper said it really started coming together when they returned from the Bahamas. She said they never lost faith. We had a great week of practice. She said, and in that 2-point loss that you referred to, Virginia Tech, I knew we were going to be okay.
5-0 in the SEC. They've won 6 in a row. Rickea Jackson to shoot a couple. Already played Stanford, Ohio State, Indiana, and UCLA. By the way, they still play number 1, number 4, and number 5.
Loved it when I saw this schedule come out, because I knew that Tennessee was only going to play their best ball come January, February, because of how tested they would be. And we're seeing that right now here in the month of January.
On the drive, Jackson there defensively. Smith couldn't get it. Time here with Tennessee on the push with 7. Walker with 5. And a traveling violation. Chapman on the run. Caught iron, and that will do it.
To me, anything associated with Pat Summitt is special, and I love that this institution continues to carry on her great name and legacy in such a manner.
Summitt Legacy Series recognizing 50 years of Title IX. Second quarter is underway. Here's Jordan Horston. Shot clock is at 7. Walker launches, can't get a 3. And Zoisha Smith tracks it down and gives it to Chapman. Battles on the up quick. Cardi Nyblack into the game for Georgia. Got a hand on it. Can't lose Tess Darby, but she can't make the 3.
Up-tempo game. Does not want Georgia to try to dictate the tempo whatsoever here this afternoon.
Battles. Got Striplin in the air and will earn a trip to the free throw line. And what's your review of the jerseys?
I like them.
Okay.
Well, hats off to the football team, who against UT Martin, Pat Summitt alma mater, also wore a form of the Summitt Blue.
Horston trying to get it to Hollingshed, forced it in there, and Nyblack with the save. Look at Chapman's speed. Back the other way to Smith, And a trip to the free throw line. Yeah, you talked about Chloe Chapman's speed. She gets going downhill.
Push tempo in transition and try to either get a foul or create an easy two.
Coach Abe, first year in Athens, 18th overall success wherever she's gone. In fact, in her career, she's won 70% of her games and turned around the programs at UAlbany and at UCF, and now taking over for Joni Taylor. Georgia had a good season last year, 21 wins, and a handful of those players returning. There is a traveling violation.
I wanted to say, I'm not sure what Katie Abrahamson-Henderson said to her team, but you just saw the activity on defense pick up, and it's continued to this point in the quarter. But here, one thing for Georgia in the half court, it's all sets right now because they haven't consistently been able to get out in transition.
Tennessee's had trouble taking care of the basketball against this Georgia defense. 4 turnovers in their last 5 possessions. They have turned it over 9 times already, and we still have 6:45 to go in the first half. Horston on the run, no. Second chance, back out to Walker, and a reset here for Puckett for 3.
So what I heard you say a moment ago about Sarah Puckett is she just likes playing in front of you.
Well, if that's what you inferred from what I said, I'll take it. Walker to Horston. One area where Horston and Jackson have struggled so far in conference play is three-point shooting. They have not been very good from outside the three-point line, and perhaps Horston thinking about that a little bit, turning down the open look.
Well, you hit it on the head. I think this whole offense is now thinking about the matchup zone. Great job by Horston that time of getting it closer to the rim.
They missed their first 8 field goal attempts of the game. Nicholson, really good offensive player, but gets called for the offensive foul. Jasmine Franklin taking the contact. Georgia again with the pressure. Walker will survey this Georgia defense.
Eric, in the first quarter, Tennessee had 12 paint points. To this point in the second, 2.
Darby. The entry to Franklin. Jackson will try from outside and get it. Rickea Jackson, who entered the game 5 of 22 from outside the three-point line. She's in the double figures again. She's got 11, and Tennessee on top by 15. It's another 8-0 run for the Lady Vols. On the run and the finish from outside. Remember, Georgia scored the first 6 points of this quarter. They are on a drought that's gone 6.5 minutes now. As we approach 1 minute to go here in the second. Battles finally finds the range after missing her first 6 field goal attempts. One thing you know about Diamond Battles, and we saw her in her UCF days, she will not quit. She will fight. This time it's going to be Nyblack called on the foul. Was down 15 at half, but they came back to win. It was their first victory here in Knoxville since 1996. Georgia was down by 17 at one point. I know, different coach, different years. Some of the players are still around, but there is some of that history floating around.
And this is a Georgia team that's already had 3 great comebacks here this season against Wisconsin, against Kentucky.
Here is Brittany Smith, UCF grad transfer, 6th player of the year in the American last year. Has raised her game, as Christy mentioned at the top of the telecast.
Trying to turn the Lady Vols over by extending into this full-court press.
There's the tip by Lewis, but Tennessee holds on to it. About 2.5 seconds or so between the shot clock and the game clock. Justine Passat, freshman, into the game for Tennessee. Jackson, that 3 won't drop from Darby, and Georgia with Lewis a chance to push it and get rid of it at the buzzer, and that will do it. Tennessee outscored Georgia 12-4 to close out that first half. They take a lead to the locker room.
The key for me right now is Brittany Smith and Diamond Battles. They need to get going offensively.
All right, Nyblack getting the start here in the second half. Battles does start, as does Brittany Smith, but then Nyblack and Audrey Warren getting the second half start.
But there was no call by the official. Takes it up strong. Nyblack rotates over.
Horston's got it. 5 on the shot clock here for Tennessee. As the shot clock expires, Jordan Walker knocks down the 3.
But credit Jordan Horston. No panic, stays calm and collected, and that's where her height allows her to see the floor, sets up Jordan Walker for the 3.
Walker has not been great from outside the three-point line, just the 5th one she's made this season in 28 attempts. Timely one there, and time for Brittany Smith to try to get going here. That's her first field goal of the game. She had missed her first 4 from the field. 6 points now for Smith. Walker makes the extra pass to the open shooter, Darby.
And against any kind of matchup, the extra pass will get you open looks. Great unselfish play by the Lady Vols.
Largest lead of the afternoon for Tennessee, on top by 19. Warren can't cut into the deficit. Darby's got the rebound into the hands of Walker. Makes it 3 threes for Tennessee to start quarter number 3. Three-point shot is not a big part of Georgia's offense. 0 for 8 today from outside the three-point line. This is what they like to do. Horston puts it on the deck, can't get it, and a rebound for Battles. Battles, that shot has not been there for her today, but it is now. Diamond Battles knocks it down.
Well, credit Georgia. Each time Coach Abe has called timeout, they have responded out of the timeout. Now the key is, can they string more stops together with the offense?
And they got to find a way to stop Tennessee at the three-point line. Darby makes another 3 for Tennessee. Now 4 for 4 in the third quarter.
At this point, it's hard to say that they shouldn't stop shooting the 3.
Horston for Walker. And reading it well was Warren. Jumps in, gets the steal, and the score.
It's body blow by the Lady Vols, and then Rickea Jackson comes in, and they're just looking for a knockout.
Battles almost got the steal. Here's Darby. Horston, defended well by Battles. Oh, good find by Jordan Horston.
Both are so good off the bounce of creating their shots or for others. You've got to be on point defensively.
Oh, nice finish by Zoisha Smith. Her first field goal, she's got 4.
And that's when Zoisha Smith is at her best. When she can get downhill, she's so explosive off the bounce.
Off the scramble, Darby almost got the assist. Tuesday night men's college basketball doubleheader starts at 6:30 Eastern time. They'll take on Vanderbilt. That's at 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central here on the SEC Network and the ESPN app. They'll take on Alabama in Oxford. After us will be Kentucky and Florida here on the SEC Network, our triple header Sunday. Out of the timeout, Rickea Jackson, a chance for a 3-point play. I'm going to hold off on saying anything. Oh, just by thinking that, I thought it into existence. The teams were combined 20 for 20 from the free throw line. Nicholson in trouble, rejected by Jackson. Nicholson not giving up, sticking with it and winning the fight for 2. Horston for Hollingshed. She tries spinning, can't get it, and Zoisha Smith's got the rebound out to Lewis. Georgia running back the other way, and one. The finish by Jordan Isaacs, and a chance for a three-point play. And here is Jordan Isaacs at the free throw line.
Eric, it's subtle, but how many times do we see it's Georgia's post?
Hassan through the arms of Striplin, and it'll be Georgia basketball. 15 turnovers for Tennessee. Other than that, things gone pretty well for the Lady Vols here on their home floor, trying to win their 7th in a row. Here's Horston with Lewis back to defender and picking up the foul. We talked about it right at the top of the telecast, the way she's 12th in rebounding in the SEC, 9th in assists per game.
It's a veteran player, and hats off to her, because one game she'll lead this team in scoring, the next game she'll have double-digit assists, the next game could be double-digit steals. She just does whatever this team needs on any given night, and I just can't say enough about her maturity and her leadership, because we've mentioned the number of players that are missing now for the Lady Vols this season, and I just feel like she stayed true to who she is and what she needs to do through all of it.
So she watches as Battles steps to the free throw line. In her SEC debut, 1 point in each of the first 2 conference games.
Well, had a shoulder injury in the loss to Ole Miss on Thursday night. Came back in and scored 7 points in a minute 14. So that's what we talk about, the playmaking ability of Diamond Battles and how Georgia's never out of the game.
But also the toughness, because when she left the game, it looked like perhaps she was going to be done. She went back to the locker room. So Lewis goes to the bench.
Eric, this is something for both teams. They have a bench.
Chloe Chapman, defended by Jackson. Nicholson has such a beautiful touch. Such a good shooter. Chapman out on her. And Powell will set for 3. Chapman's a rebound, and off they go again. Smith to the basket. Beautiful take by Zoisha Smith for 2. Georgia fell behind by 23 here in this quarter. They have chipped away and a chance to cut into it a little bit more. Smith at the buzzer. Won't get it to go, and that will do it. So Georgia closes the quarter on an 11-4 run. Fourth quarter is underway. Walker. Puckett. Georgia trying to dial up the intensity here, get a stop or 2, and this is a different ball game. Shot clock's down to 5. Horston spinning. Horston can't get it, and there's stop number 1 for Georgia. Remember, it was a very hot start to the third quarter. Tennessee made 3 early threes. Good follow-up there by Brittany Smith. Darby, transition 3. Opportunities were there, certainly, for Georgia. They got some early stops in the first 2 minutes of this quarter. They couldn't convert, and then Darby gets the first points of the quarter for Tennessee. And that stretches things back out to a 17-point lead. Bates has an opening. 2 fouls on Brittany Smith.
And they missed Hollingshead. She was open down low.
Tennessee turns it over. That's 18 turnovers now. And Georgia on the run off the turn. And Zoisha Smith, fighting with Jackson for the rebound, went to the deck, and that's a travel.
Kellie Harper knows what she's going to get with Jordan Walker.
Walker and Warren get tangled up, and technical foul is given to Coach Abe. You saw Warren jump back as arm got up there, then the arms got locked. The foul was called on Warren.
Jordan Walker's expression as it just came over the PA system. She goes, "What? I didn't do anything."
81% free throw shooter, number 1 on the team. So 2 here for Warren.
Well, the official stats still haven't been updated then, because they still only have Walker with the 1 foul that she had coming into the quarter.
So now we'll go down here and shoot. Chris is going to get an explanation out. Darby goes, and Chris has got a little clarification now.
They assess with a live ball intention why Georgia got the 2 free throws. Tess Darby is shooting the technical foul called against the coach.
And it's going to be Tennessee basketball now near half court. Shot clock down to 5. Hollingshed is fouled. A couple of the top teams in the conference, Aaliyah Boston. Number 1, South Carolina will be in Nashville, take on Vanderbilt. That's at 7 Eastern time. And then Angel Reese and fifth ranked LSU will take on Arkansas. Second time this year that Arkansas and LSU will meet. They'll be at the Maravich Center. It's coming up Thursday night, starting 7 o'clock Eastern time here on the SEC Network. Pointer is off the mark here this afternoon. Battles on the drive. This thing's not over yet. Diamond battles. They find Jackson. Jackson on the turnaround for 2. Rickea Jackson has gone for 20 points again. 8th time this season. Their 2 SEC wins. They were down double digits in the second half and came back to win against Kentucky.
And you see Georgia extending this defense. It's still their 3-2 matchup, but they can extend it out.
But they don't have an answer for Rickea Jackson today. Who does at the moment?
To raise up and elevate, knock down the shot, and create off the bounce. And that's what we've seen. Kellie Harper and her staff moving Rickea Jackson, and the offense has just flowed through her.
Turnover by Georgia, and then Smith compounds it with the foul. 8 of 10 from the field today. Against Texas A&M, she was 9 of 16. But in the first 2 conference games, 10 of 13 against Florida, 10 of 14 against Alabama.